Hello and welcome to Did You Know Voice Acting Extra? Today we're talking about the popular anime series Yu-Gi-Oh! After finding a massive amount of success with the Pokemon franchise, former licensing titan 4Kids Entertainment set their sights on a new gigantic property, Yu-Gi-Oh's second animated series, titled Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Monsters in Japan. Starting in 2001, the show would go on to air in the United States on the Kids WB Saturday morning block, as well as Cartoon Network and eventually the Fox Box, later becoming 4Kids TV, running for over 200 episodes by 2006. Longtime fans of the series are of course familiar with the unmistakable voice of both Yugi and Yami Yugi the Pharaoh in that of Dan Green.
I wouldn't be who I am without you. And I thought about everything that you taught me when I was building my deck.
That's exactly what I did when I built mine. You taught me about bravery and about having self-confidence even when all hope seems lost.
However, this was not always necessarily planned to be the case. Years later, it was revealed that in fact Greg Abbey was originally set to play the role of Yugi, and his voice can actually be heard in a Toys R Us promotional videotape prior to the show's airing.
They say there's two sides to every person. Well, solving the Millennium Puzzle proved that true. It turned my world upside down and me inside out.
At the time, just before the series was to begin production, Greg had decided to move to California, pursuing other acting opportunities in Los Angeles. Unable to record the part, Dan Green went on to play the titular character in the end, but Greg Abbey would eventually have his day. During the first 10 episodes of the series, the part of Tristan Taylor was voiced by Sam Riegel, who also played Rex Raptor and Arcana. According to Greg Abbey, the production wasn't happy with Sam's portrayal of Tristan, so upon Greg's transition back to New York, Sam was recast, and Greg Abbey was offered the role of Tristan, finishing up the rest of the series as the character.
Oh, isn't he cute when he's thinking drooling monsters?
Yeah, if by teaching you mean getting schooled every time she beats you with it.
Interestingly, both Greg Abbey and Sam Riegel were given a bit of justice later in their own ways. Greg went on to voice Yusei Fudo in the sequel series Yu-Gi-Oh! 5Ds, finally given the chance to play a lead character in the franchise, 2 incarnations later. In the case of Sam Riegel, his original voice for Tristan was meant to be a sort of surfer dude characterization. Although it was eventually changed for Yu-Gi-Oh!, over a decade later, Sam would go on to not only be the voice director for the Disney TV series Wander Over Yonder by Powerpuff Girls creator Craig McCracken, but also voice a new and improved surfer dude in the form of Emperor Awesome.
Yeah, right, bro. I'm taking you all the way down to Awesome Town. Fire breath!
The English dub of the Yu-Gi-Oh! Series is very heavily adapted and censored from its original Japanese counterpart. But believe it or not, there are actually a few other productions of the Duel Monsters series where this isn't the case. A studio called Voiceovers Unlimited would record dubs for various anime series for other English-speaking territories in Southeast Asia, most often for Singapore-based distributor Odex. This studio produced their own dub of Yu-Gi-Oh's first 2 seasons. While using the Americanized 4Kids character names, the script was adapted directly from the Japanese version, preserved the original soundtrack with their own voice cast, including voice director Chuck Powers as Yugi.
I don't know when I'll ever see you again, partner, but I swear I'm gonna reassemble this puzzle and meet you again no matter what! Why is my soul inside of the Millennium Puzzle? Why was my memory sealed into 7 Millennium items?
But it doesn't end there. In 2004, 4Kids also experimented with the production of some uncut bilingual DVD releases of a few of their anime properties, including Shaman King and Yu-Gi-Oh! While only a few of these DVD volumes were ever actually released, at least 12 episodes of both series were given a new English dub, with much of the original casts from both shows brought back to reprise their roles, barring a few exceptions with actors who had moved, such as Kathleen Delaney taking on the role of Mai Valentine in these episodes, as opposed to Erica Schroeder, who has taken over as Mai in the series after Megan Hollingsted had moved.
I thought it was all over for me, too. But then Yugi stepped in and saved my star chips, and now I'm returning the favor.
Forget it, Joey. You don't have to say anything mushy. What you did for me back there said it all.
This is the 10-cycle combination. Each turn they get more beautiful and create one double after another, getting stronger and stronger.
Sadly, this production didn't last, but the English version continued to have success in the United States, even leading to original productions such as the Pyramid of Light feature film and the 12-episode Capsule Monsters series, made specifically for the North American audience. The following Yu-Gi-Oh! GX and 5D's anime series continued forward throughout the rest of the 2000s, creating more and more success for 4Kids at the time. That is, until an unexpected controversy came up around 2011. Due to some allegedly illegal dealings with other companies that involved collecting royalties on Yu-Gi-Oh! Productions without having to pay portions to the Japanese rights holders, TV Tokyo and Nihon Ad Systems sued 4Kids Entertainment, demanding over $5 million in underpayments, and sought to terminate the Yu-Gi-Oh! License from the company altogether. In response to this, 4Kids filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy, prolonging the lawsuit. While this was all unfolding, the fourth series in the franchise, Yukio Zexal, had just begun airing in Japan. Still holding the license to the show, and likely in order to get a head start on eventually airing new episodes, 4Kids began producing their English dub of Zexal's first season worth of episodes. However, at the same time, ADK and TV Tokyo began commissioning their own English dub of the show, confident that they would win the lawsuit and would cut ties with 4Kids for good. 26 episodes of Yu-Gi-Oh! Zexal were recorded at Bang Zoom Studios in Los Angeles, featuring Johnny Young Bosch as lead character Yuma Tsukumo, and even recording an original theme song for the opening. In fact, the original animation assets for the episodes were provided, allowing for easier edits to the footage for syncing the mouth movements to the English dialogue. On a side note, the character Tori Meadows was played in the unreleased Bang Zoom dub of the series by Cassandra Lee Morris, who voiced Yu Bell in Yu-Gi-Oh! GX and both Leo and Luna in Yu-Gi-Oh! 5Ds when she lived in New York. But Tori was ultimately played by Eileen Stevens, who had also replaced Cassandra as Yu Bell, Leo, and Luna in future productions. Surprising everyone, 4Kids, who had already begun airing their English dub of the Zexal series, had won the lawsuit against their Japanese counterparts, securing their ownership of the franchise in America. However, Japan ended up having the last laugh when in 2012 4Kids Entertainment exited its bankruptcy and officially shut down, reforming as 4 Licensing Corporation, which was then fully bought out by the company behind the official Yu-Gi-Oh! Trading card game, Konami. Finally, the licensing titan was converted entirely into the production company 4K Media Inc., made specifically for the English dubbing of all future Yu-Gi-Oh! Properties. Much of the same staff and cast has remained, including Darren Dunstan, voice of Maximilian Pegasus, who has been directing the show since Yu-Gi-Oh! 5Ds, all the way through Zexal, Arc 5, and not only continues on directing the new Yu-Gi-Oh! Reigns series, but also reunited the original casts of the Duel Monsters series in the 2010 Bonds Beyond Time and 2017 Dark Side of Dimensions movies. And now it's time for this episode's random piece of trivia. This time we'll be looking at the many iconic heroes and villains of DC's Batman franchise. The likes of the Joker, Two-Face, Robin, and the Dark Knight himself have been played by a number of different actors, not just on screen, but across a wide variety of cartoons, video games, movies, and more. In fact, Batman himself has been voiced by well over 20 different actors over the last 50 years. However, one particular actor of note is in that of Troy Baker. While Troy is of course more famous for his work on video games such as Last of Us, Uncharted, and BioShock, he had not only voiced Bruce Wayne in the Telltale Enemy Within game and various LEGO video games for the past 5 years, but he is the only actor to also have portrayed Harvey Dent, Tim Drake, Jason Todd, and the Joker across many installations of the Arkham series of Batman games. He's even been Superman and Brainiac in a couple games as well. Now all that's left is for there to be a DC production where Troy Baker voices everyone. It'll be called Crisis Across Infinite Troys. Thanks so much for watching. This video was inspired by Did You Know Gaming, so go check out their channel and watch all their videos on gaming trivia. If you liked this video, click the link to this one here to learn more about the voices behind the characters of Kingdom Hearts.